to my channel, Statements by Rainbow, and I'm Rainbow. So in today's video, I wanted to give y'all some tips or some things you should think about or some things that you should do before purchasing a home. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so your post notifications are turned on and you receive whatever it is that may be going on that particular day as soon as I drop it. Okay, and if you are already subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. So we're gonna get into it, okay? So you tired of renting. You tired of renting. You like, this renting stuff is in the way. I'm ready to buy a house next year, in 6 months, whatever the case may be, right? And you hear all these things. Really, the most thing you always hear, let me get my credit right. That's the number one thing that you always hear. Let me get my credit right and start saving. That's really what you hear. So there's more to it than just thinking about your credit and saving. Oh, my back is y'all. Those are a part of it, but there's more to it. So of course, if you looked at my previous video, me and my wife, we just purchased a house, and certain things, like I said, you think that's what you need to do, which you do, but there's other things that you have to think about as well. First thing I'm gonna tell you, you need to be ready, like not just ready, like because you're tired of renting. Are you ready mentally and emotionally and physically and financially? One of the things to think about is if you're renting or staying with somebody or however the case may be, when is your lease up? Like, what is in your contract? So who's to say your lease is up in a couple of months and you may go over? Do you sign a yearly lease, a 6-month lease, a month-to-month lease, or do you break your lease? That's things to think about, okay? And if you need to break your lease, what does that look like? Looking into your rental agreement and seeing if there's a certain buyout agreement, how many days in advance you need to give notice that you want to break the lease, stuff like that. Also, you need to think about the credit, your payment history. We're going to back this up. One of the first things is also, do you have a steady income? Is it reliable? Like, how long you been on your job, or how long have you had your business if that's your income? Are you on a fixed income? So, and how long has that particular, whatever the income is from, how long have you been receiving that particular income? So, say that you are a chef. How long? That's one of the things they look at. Okay, you've been a chef for 2 years. Okay, don't seem too bad. Now, the thing is, have you been a chef and every 3 months you've been switching locations at different restaurants? Like stuff like that. They pay attention to because they want to know how reliable and steady you are. Are you going to be able to sure to pay your mortgage? Another thing to think about is your debt to income ratio. So, what's the type of things you're paying on right now? Like, you got a car payment, you paying alimony, child support, you got a boat that you're making payments on, stuff like that is something to think about. Because now you got something else coming in and you're gonna have to pay this. Now we don't want you to come into this and your mortgage is at whatever rate, and we already know that you're paying on this, and your income says you might come up $200 short, every now and then, depending on things, right? So your debt to income ratio does matter. So you want to try to relieve, if you can, some of your debts. You know, pay down, if you want to pay down some credit cards or student loans, or you got an old car on your record from 2000 that you never paid off, and them people, you know, you owe some of them bill collectors. And then you might want to start paying those things down. And it's not to say that you can't have any debt that is not going to make you qualify. That's not what I'm saying. Moving forward. So, one of the things to think about, how much do you have to put towards a down payment? You know, you do you got $0 in your account, or can you put down 10,000? Can you put down 5,000? Do you only have $500 to put down on your deposit towards your mortgage? And also, what's in your bank account is important, because there are going to be some fees that come out that you need to pay out of pocket. What you gonna tell them?
I'm gonna wait. I gotta wait till I get paid next week, and then I should be able to have it.
Okay, so when it comes down to your credit, they looking at your payment history. Have you been on time with your payments on whatever you got up there? You know, you ordered some furniture from somebody, and you were making payments, and you was a month late every time. Like, you missed like 3 payments. That stuff they're paying attention to. Were you on time? You know, how long did it take you a longer time to pay it all? How long is your credit history? How long have you had a line of credit? You know, you might be 21 and you haven't started building your credit yet. And so you might have just got your car about, and stuff 6 months ago, and your mom paying your car. So you still don't have any credit. So they want to see, a history. How well do you pay your bills and stuff like that? Like, how worthy are you? And they're looking at what type of lines of credit that you have. Like I said, car, furniture, phone bills, different, what type of credits do you have? Not necessarily phone bill, but just giving you an example. Something else that's good to know, what are the mortgage rates at that time? Because they go up and down. You may be looking at a house today and the mortgage rate is 6.5, just throwing a number out there. And it's Monday. And let me think about it. I got to figure this out. And it could be in 2 weeks, it went to 7.5. So that's something to be aware of. Just to give you an idea, you might need to think about it mentally. Okay, the rates are this. And, of course, the house buying process isn't like, oh, I go fill out the paperwork today, tomorrow I go find a house, and next week I'm moving in. It does not work like that, y'all. It doesn't. It takes a minimum of, I'm going to say, a month and a half. And that's fast. If you get to do it in a month and a half, that's fast. So it takes at least a month and a half with the entire process to do. So the rates do change. Being realistic, you need to be realistic with yourself of how much you can afford. And you can do a simple thing of, one, if you alleviate some of your debt, think about where you're at right now. How much are you paying to stay where you live now? Whether you're staying with someone or you're renting an apartment, renting a house, or whatever you're at. How much are you paying now, and how much actual extra money do you have left? How much can you afford is important. That's something to think about. So I'm just throwing a number out there. If you know, you pay $800 in rent, right? And you only have $400 left every month after everything you pay now. How much you think you can pay in a mortgage, regardless of you go depending on what your debt is. If you alleviate that, so if right now say, hey, like I said, you pay $800 in rent, and what I say, you only have $800 or $400 left over every month, and you know your car payment, you about to be done with that, and we're gonna just say that's $500. Equivalent in how much you think with all the extra, because are you right now, are you paying water, are you paying lights, are you paying gas, you know, internet fees and stuff like that. Think about those things. It's important to think about what type of house do you want. Like, are you going for a townhouse, a single family house, or a duplex? um, do you want to live in an HOA area, you know, so that you're paying HOA fees and stuff like that. Also, something to think about is how far are you willing to travel? Think about, you know, where you work at now, where you go to school at, or where your children go to school at. Some of the extracurricular activities that you may be in, or the children may be in, that maybe that's set in stone. You don't want to change the schools. You're not changing work. So how far of a commute are you willing to drive from to those places from your home? So you can think about what area you need to stick with. You know, are you willing to drive just 20 minutes? Are you willing to drive 45 minutes? You know, are you willing to drive the hour and a half to work? Like I know some people work with me, and they live in a whole different state, and they drive because they say there's not many jobs in their area, right? So that's something to think about. Of course, important. What are your wants and needs in a home? Like, you may be saying, "Oh, I got to have a garage. Oh, I need a walk-in closet. I definitely have to have a family room and a dining room with a large size kitchen. Um, I gotta have an open floor plan. I need to have upstairs and downstairs to separate when I'm having company and my kids staying upstairs. Um, I need to have a shed. I don't want no backyard because I don't feel like cutting no grass. You know, I need a sunroom. Like, yeah. Or we love to swim. I don't want to go buy no pool. I need to have a pool, in-ground pool already there. Boom. So those are the things. Then on the flip side of that, what are the, like, you're not budging. Some of those things that you want, it may come a thing of, hey, it doesn't have this sunroom, but it does have the pool. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Or that it isn't the in-ground pool, but they do have a community pool around the corner. So I'll just go to the community pool when I'm ready to go to the pool. You know, something else that's important to think about is what type of mortgage is best for you. So you have several different type of mortgages, right? And I'll probably list them right there, right there, so you can see.
My bad,
So you
y'all. I don't know
have
why I
a
kept saying
conventional
mortgages.
mortgage,
I was meaning loans, but
then you
y'all, I'm
have
sure y'all knew what I was talking about.
a FHA mortgage. Again, conventional FHA. Then the third, you have a VA mortgage, which is for the military. And then you have a USDA mortgage. Then I think they sometimes say what, a jumbo mortgage. So there's multiple ones out there. You need to read upon them and see what do you think is right for you. But when it comes down to you actually, when you get you a lender or whatever, when they look over your information and different stuff and within talking to you, they will tell you what they think is the best one for you. But at least you looking into it, you can kind of get an idea of what you think, so you can be prepared, right? Like I said, these are just the tips. I'm giving you of things to do or think about before trying to purchase a home, so you can already have it in your mind, right, and you can be ready. So like I said in the beginning, are you what's your emotional state? You know, um, and having patience, because, like I said, it's not a quick process. So if you got a lot going on and trying to purchase a home, like for instance, you trying to plan a wedding and trying to buy a home at the same time, boo boo, do one or the other. I'm gonna tell you, do one or the other. Now, if you're planning a wedding and you have a wedding coordinator that's full hands on and you got a lot of support system, maybe. But if you, I don't know, if you're working, you're dealing with kids and trying to get married and buy a home at the same time, I wouldn't suggest it. That's just too much at one time, and you might go crazy. You might flip. You might be a little snotty to people. So think about your emotional state during this time of you wanting to purchase a home, because it's supposed to be a wonderful experience. You making a lifetime commitment for yourself and then investing into yourself, into your family. So you want to enjoy the experience. One of the things, like I said, is not a fast task to handle. You need to pay attention to the supply and demand of the houses, especially, you think about, depending on where you live, the city or state you're ready to go to, like how many people are buying in the area, and then the type, since you thought about what type of home that you want, your wants and needs, and things you could do without. How many homes can you find? So sometimes, depending on your wants and needs, that home may be hard to find, especially in your price range. And they may say, hey, the realtor, hey, I've been looking and looking. I only found one, and it's 2.5 hours away from where you wanted to be. And you ain't trying to do no long commute. So you're going to have to wait. Who's to say, if that comes up. So that's something to think about, the supply and demand of what you're looking for. And of course, most people, especially with children, prefer to move in the summertime or the spring going into summertime, because they don't want to relocate their children. So they're hoping to move right, the end of the school year or right after school has finished, so the kids can adjust to being in the new home, enjoy the summer, and start a new school year fresh elsewhere. Also, something to think about, your duration of staying in this home. Like, are you planning just to stay here 4 years, or is this going to be 10, 20 till you pass along, to the other side? How long do you plan on staying in this house? So to think, is it even necessary for you to purchase a home if you want to purchase a home because you're tired of living where you at, and okay, I saw this house and I'm just go for it because I'm just tired of being right here, even though I'm renting, I don't know nothing, you just making a rash decision. Also, something to think about is, will you need assistance within purchasing your home? Whether you need family assistance, you got different grants and stuff out here. Will do you have enough that you don't need it, or what qualifications are needed to get those type of assistance programs going for you, and how much assistance, if they will assist you, how much will they assist you with, and what do you need to hold up on your end of things. You need to think about your household dynamics, right? Depending on how old you are, and do you have children. Why I say age, if this is a home, like I just told you, think about how long you plan on staying in the home, right? So, which I've seen this personally, you know that your health is in whatever state it is, right? And you plan, this the home you plan on being in forever. And that's one of the things I think about, just from, like I said, personal, seeing it for my own self and with others. You know you have issues, and you're getting a 3-story home, right? And your bedroom is on the 3rd floor, and you struggle. How do you think that's gonna work out the older you get? Also, if you're young and you plan on staying in this home forever, you got married and you got a 2-bedroom, and you know you want 5 kids. You and your wife, the 1 kid you already have, and then you're gonna have 4 more. Do you think all 5 kids gonna fit in that bedroom? So that's something to think about when I say your household dynamics. Then also, hey, you buying a home and all your kids are 16, 17, 18 years old. They about to be leaving soon. So what's, is on you, because I don't know, are you a parent that you don't mind your kids staying with you forever? Can they, when they move out, can they come back? Different stuff like that. But that's also something to think about, how many bedrooms you want to get, if whatever your thought process is with the kids coming back and stuff like that. How many rooms do you really need if they about to be gone soon? The last thing I would say is to take a home buyers class, first time homeowners buyer class, and I know, I don't know how it is in every state, but either it's a class you could go to or a class you can take online. You get a certificate for the class. I think it lasts 2 years from the date that you finished the class. And I don't know, I personally took the class online, so I'm not quite sure how does it work in person, but online taking the class, you can go at your own pace, and it's pretty much, it gives you all the information you would need to being a homeowner. They break it up, I think, into like 9 sections, maybe a little more, maybe 12, 9 to 12 sections. But anyway, and each section, at the end of that chapter, you have a small quiz, a couple of questions of the things they went over, and it's more like a informative video and that they give you, and they're talking and stuff like that. After that, you pass, boom, your certificate, you can save it to your phone, print it out, whatever the case may be. And when you're going to purchase a home, you can show them that, hey, I took this class, and that can help you with credits or whatever, points, whatever the case may you want to call it, to help you with purchasing a home. So I gave y'all a lot of tips. I'm not sure if you already been looking into things. And one more thing. So the world we live in now, we do a lot of Cash App and this and that. One of the tips I will give you that I learned, when you're in this process, you're going to have to leave that alone. Yeah, you're going to have to leave that alone, or figure out how to go about that. Because when they're looking at your income, they don't want to know, well, what, that's income coming into your account, but it's not a part of your income. So where is this money coming from? You get what I'm saying? So we see you had $200 here, $100 there, da 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 da. Is that a part of your income? It's as far as, hey, you work here, we see that check, dum 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 dum. Now it's not to say when you do purchase a home, hey, you might got family members that they so proud of you, they can afford, hey, because you buying a home, I'm proud of you. Hey, here you got $1,000 to put towards whatever you need. It's okay, but you're gonna have to have them write a letter. So when they see this $1,000 pop up in your account, you have a letter stating that so and so gifted this to me. So they'll be aware. You get what I'm saying? So okay, that was just one thing. Oh, another thing. One more tip. One more tip. So I know a lot of people, y'all be using Afterpay, Klarna, and whatever else is out there. You gotta leave that alone. Gotta leave that alone. So you wanna go ahead, whatever you got on those type of accounts, go ahead, pay it off right now. Pay it off. Leave them alone. Boom. Because yet again, that's like a form. Even though you're not paying the interest and whatever, I guess, on those things, that's like a form of credit. So they need this, payment history, different stuff like that. They're going to start checking it. Like, okay, let's see. How long you had this Klarna or Afterpay service? Did you pay your stuff and all that? You need to leave it alone. I don't even care. If you just owe $20, go ahead, pay them their $20 now and leave it alone during or when you start your process, okay? All right. So, I done gave y'all some tips. If there's any other things that I left out that if you're a homeowner or you're in the process of being a homeowner and I didn't list, make sure you list it in the comments. So whoever sees this video, it can help them out as well. If you have any questions that I'm far pertaining any of the tips, feel free, reach out. If I can answer it, I definitely will. If I can't, I will help you try to figure out the answer, okay? So, I thank you for watching. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye, y'all.